Hey, are you Tiffany?
Yes, hi. How are you today?
Good, nice to meet you. I'm Mallory. I'm going to be your counselor for these next couple sessions. Before we get started, I did just want to go over some quick housekeeping things. So we're going to go over the client intake forms that I had you fill out and send back to me. And then also we're going to briefly go over informed consent. Does that sound okay?
Sounds perfect.
Okay, so just before we get started, I did want to let you know that I am a practicum student at DBU. I'm currently finishing up my master's degree there. So I am being supervised by a licensed professional counselor. Her name is Dr. Doe. So just to go over some other things, confidentiality. What you say in here is confidential. However, we do have some limits just to make sure that everybody is staying safe and in a healthy environment. So some of those limitations include child abuse, elder abuse. If there is reasonable belief that you are a harm to yourself or to other people, I do have a legal responsibility to report those. Does that make sense to you? And are you
Yeah,
in
of
agreement with
course.
that?
Yes.
Okay. So one other housekeeping thing before we get started, I just wanted to briefly review your client intake form that I had you fill out and send back to me. So have you ever been to therapy before, or have you ever visited with a mental health professional?
No, this will be my first time.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what you're expecting this to look like.
Yeah, so I really just want you to help keep my boyfriend from breaking up with me. He's been making it seem like he wants to, and I just want to make sure that doesn't happen.
Okay, so it sounds like that's a really important relationship to you. I will say I'm working with you, so you are my main client, but I will definitely work with you to help accomplish your goals, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. So let me just review a couple more things here. All right, tell me a little bit about your support systems and your family life and what that looks like.
Yeah, so I don't talk to either of my parents because they both do drugs. So it's really just my boyfriend, and we live with his mom. So I talk to her a lot too, but she doesn't really like me.
Okay. So tell me about how you and your boyfriend met.
Yeah, so we met when I was 17, and he was 30 because my first job was at a store in the mall and he was my manager. I don't work there anymore because I got a new job, and he also doesn't work there anymore because he got fired.
Okay. Are you working now?
Yeah, I work at a gas station. I've been there for like 2 years.
And how's that going? Do you like it?
I don't like it, but since my boyfriend doesn't work, I have to pay the bills. And so, you do what you have to do.
Mm-hmm. So I also saw on your intake that you're in school. What are you studying right now?
Right now I'm just doing my general education classes, but my boyfriend wants me to drop out, so I think I'll probably do that like next semester. So I'm kind of considering that too.
Okay. Just keep going through here. Okay, so I think that takes care of a lot of our housekeeping stuff, so we're going to kind of get into it. So you said you're here because you think that your boyfriend is exhibiting behaviors that indicate he might be breaking up with you soon. Does that sound right?
Yeah, when he gets mad at me, he yells and tells me he's gonna leave me. And then when I'm at work, he won't text me back and he'll say he was busy, but he doesn't have a job, so what is he doing? You know what I mean? How
Yeah.
could he really be that busy?
Yeah. Have you been in relationships before?
No, this is my first and only, but we've been together for a couple years now.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what you like about your boyfriend.
Um, I think he's nice to me sometimes, and sometimes he'll, you know, cook some dinner or bring some food home when I get home from work. But most of the time I have to cook, but it's nice when he does it every once in a while. I think it shows that he's thoughtful. He's just if a funny guy. He just makes me laugh sometimes.
Yeah. What do
Yeah.
you like to do together?
He doesn't really like to spend time with me all that much because normally when I get home, he's like playing his video games. I tried to start doing playing video games too, but he said that I wouldn't be very good at them. So when I get home, I usually just, sit quietly and like read a book while he's playing his games, and that's typically what we do together.
Okay. So it sounds like you're pretty invested in this relationship and you really want to see it thrive and work out.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So I want to hear a little bit more about your relationships other than your boyfriend. Can you tell me about what your friendships look like? If you have any siblings, what your relationship with them looks like?
Yeah, I don't have any siblings. I do have my best friend. She goes to school with me. She does not like my boyfriend, and in fact, she's the one who told me I should talk to somebody about it. Her and I are very close, but I don't see her very often because my boyfriend doesn't like her either, and so he thinks that I shouldn't hang out with her.
Okay. Do you spend a lot of time with her?
When I can, like I said, he doesn't like it and it makes him mad, so I tend to, not do it so much because I don't want him to be upset with me.
Yeah. So how does that make you feel when you feel like you're having to pick between your boyfriend and what he wants and spending time with someone you consider a close friend?
I mean, it's hard sometimes, but I look at it like this is supposed to be my life partner, and so I think I need to pay attention to what he wants more than what I want, but it is hard sometimes, and I wish I could see my friends more.
Okay. So I want to stick with that thought for just a second here. You're saying, so what I'm hearing you say is you're wanting to prioritize what he wants a little bit over what you want. Does that sound right?
Yeah, because when he's upset with me, he always tells me that I don't pay enough attention to him or do enough for him, and so I think that me do spending time with my friends kind of gets in the way of like doing things for him. That's why he wants me to drop out of school because he thinks I'm not prioritizing him enough, and I just want to make sure I'm being a good partner.
Yeah. I want to hear what you think about what he's saying. Like he's saying that you're not prioritizing him and all this. I want to hear what your thoughts are on that.
I think I'm doing my best. I'm just really busy. And so maybe he does have a point that I just have a lot on my plate. But, I'm the one working and I'm paying the bills and I'm going to school. And so it's just hard to balance it all.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're pretty busy trying to juggle all of that. Do you feel like you have adequate time to relax and do the things that you like to do?
Not often. I don't have a lot of free time, but when I do, I really try to enjoy it.
Okay. So leading from that, tell me a little bit about how you're feeling physically. Are you feeling tired and run down, or kind of walk me through that?
Yeah, so I think I'm okay. I've been eating a little bit less and I haven't been sleeping very well. And sometimes I'm kind of afraid, but I don't really know why I'm afraid. And I have a lot of anxiety now. It's typically when I come home from work or from school, I'm really anxious and really fearful of being home. And I just don't know why that is.
Okay, so you've got some big emotions coming into play there, and you're not quite sure where they're coming from. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, for sure.
So we said fear and anxiety specifically. Are there any circumstances that also evoke those kinds of feelings of fear and anxiety that you can pinpoint?
Yeah, I get really fearful when my boyfriend yells at me, because he doesn't hit me, but sometimes he does get a little aggressive and it seems like he's going to hit me, but he never has. Um, so that kind of makes me afraid sometimes. And then when he's yelling at me, I get really anxious because I just don't like to be yelled at, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong. So those are some times where I feel that way.
Okay. All right. Sorry. 1 second. I'm going to cough. So, yeah, what does that feel like in the aftermath after that yelling spell is over and you have those leftover fear and emotions? What happens next?
Um, I just get really upset and really down on myself, and I just want to have someone to talk to, and I don't, because he doesn't want to talk to me after he's been angry with me. He doesn't think that he should have to help or be there for me when I made him mad, so I just kind of have to deal with it on my own.
Yeah, that sounds really rough and hard. Um, okay. So you were saying some things that made me a little bit concerned. You're saying that he hasn't hit you, but it sounds like you're almost anticipating that.
Yeah, sometimes, like I said, when he gets angry, he gets really aggressive in his tone and his actions, but he's never like directly hit me. Like sometimes he'll throw things like at the wall or he'll like punch the wall or something, but he's never hit me. but because he's aggressive towards other things, I wonder if maybe it might turn on to me one day, but it hasn't yet. And I don't want to make him seem like a bad person because he's not a bad person, but I'm afraid of that sometimes.
Okay. Do you feel safe in your living situation?
Most of the time, yes. Just
Okay.
not when he's yelling at me.
Just not when he's yelling at you. All right. How often do these yelling and throwing and hitting and punching walls spells typically last? What's the frequency with those?
I'd say he gets mad at me a couple times a week, and when he gets mad at me, he doesn't talk to me for a couple of hours, and he'll come ask me for something. Like he'll ask me to like borrow my car or like borrow $20 to go do something. So then he typically is okay with me.
Yeah. So we've covered quite a bit of ground at this point. We've talked about a lot of things, some things that may have been a little bit hard to talk about. So I want to take a minute, step back. Tell me what you're feeling right now.
It feels nice to have somebody to talk to and like tell all these things. I often don't have somebody to talk to, so this is nice.
Okay. What are some things that you do when you have the time to recharge and step away from that fear and anxiety that you feel at home sometimes?
Yeah, when I have free time, I like to go hang out with my best friend, or I like to read a book or watch a show that I like. Often when we're at home, we have to watch like sports or some show I don't want to watch because my boyfriend wants to watch it. So I like to watch, shows I'm interested in and just like relax.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Okay, so we are coming down to our last couple minutes together. So I want to recap, make sure that you don't have any questions, and then we can talk about steps going forward. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right. So we've talked about quite a bit today. It sounds like you're very committed to your relationship and you want to see it work out for the best. And I will do my best to help you in achieving your goals. Let's see. Sounds like you've got a lot going on between maintaining both your romantic relationship with your boyfriend and your best friend, and then also work. And it sounds like you've got quite a few decisions that you're facing here pretty soon. So we can definitely continue these conversations going forward in our next several sessions. But before we close out today, do you have any questions for me or concerns?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, we're going to continue to meet if that is okay with you. And I look forward to seeing you in our next session. Okay.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye.